Hey homies, I'm Myra Flynn, and welcome to the Homegoings YouTube channel. If you're new to the show and you just stumbled on our page, hey, what's up? And if you're already a Homegoings listener, welcome home. Homegoings is a podcast and a live event series all about people. Super interesting people. People who challenge our biases. People who challenge my biases. Sometimes you're going to see me here in my home studio in Los Angeles, and sometimes you'll see me out in the world talking to people. Either way, we are going to bring home to you. So be sure to subscribe, chime in with your thoughts in the comments, and tell your friends. We'll have a new guest for you every other week. To kick us off, I talked with jewelry maker Aman Itomi about how he's bracing for the T word everybody can't stop saying. Tariffs.
What I do is a specialty, and it's not like food. It's not like gas. It's not things that people need.
Not essential.
It's not essential.
Right.
It's a luxury item. So I'll be the first one cut off the list.
Right. Aman Itomi isn't a boastful dude, even though his life is something to brag about. Aman makes precious jewelry, and many of his pieces have been worn by celebrities. His work has even graced the cover of Time magazine, and his nickname in the jewelry world is the Basquiat of Metal. But when you talk to Aman, he doesn't bring this up. He'd rather let you know the kind of recent chemical he's working with to polish his silver. And that's because day in and day out, Aman keeps his nose to the grindstone at his home in the Valley in Southern California. Like literally, cranking out pieces of precious jewelry that he's hand-cut, handmade, handcrafted, and hand-wrought by, well, his own two hands. And now, right now, those hands are tied by Trump's tariff war. Needless to say, Aman's been doing a little doomsday prepping.
I really think about everything I do now, down to the penny weight, to the gram, to the ounce. If it's gold, that can be another $200 instantly.
From Vermont Public, this is Homegoings. I'm Myra Flynn, and today on the show, a conversation with humble craftsman / celebrity jeweler Aman Itomi about how he's prepping for Trump's tariffs.
I'm making a ring.
You're making a ring?
Yeah, basic ring.
We had this conversation in my living room in Los Angeles, and now it's your turn to join us. We're a proud member of the NPR network. Welcome home. I've heard that you are the Basquiat of Metal. What's going on? Because that's not a little nickname at all, right? That's a pretty big deal. How'd you get this nickname? Like, tell me about what you do.
Well, I lived in Brooklyn. I did art in Brooklyn. I did art in Bedford Avenue, Park Slope, all over New York, Soho. I was at a party one time, and I was doing some charity work for the party. Mm-hmm. And I came in, and some guy that was like in the music industry was like, the Basquiat of Metal was in the building.
So it started
and I was like
that.
But that was the second
Subtle.
time I heard something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So that started being my nickname.
But why did they call you that?
I make like rings, earrings, bracelets, chokers, wedding rings, anything really custom. I can make you a Honda. I can make you a Bentley. It's all on. It's all on budget.
Like, can we? I mean, what are you doing Saturday? No.
Working.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Yeah.
But I just create what I see in my mind. Unless it's for somebody and they have something they have in their mind they want me to execute, and then I'll make that. But usually I just make what I think, what I feel, based on my vibe, and I just create it. And I'm lucky to have people that like my art enough to, support. You
don't just make jewelry like around the house. You make jewelry for a lot of really well-known people. I mean, not to make you name drop, but can you name drop?
Yeah, I'm grateful. I'll start with the older crowd, like what my mom would be proud of. My dad, Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oof. Name a
Raphael
few.
Sadiq,
Wow.
NDRE, Mos Def, A lot of people. I did covers like with Little Nas X for Time magazine cover. I've done billboard covers with Maluma, Jennifer Lopez. So I've been blessed to have people really like my art. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think why do you think they like, what's unique about the jewelry you make?
I don't know. Other than when I was younger, when I was in high school, they had this program called Young American, and it was basically architectural program. And so if you win, you come in first place, they build your house. I came in second place. I felt like I should have came in first, but that was when I was in the high school, and I never really, I didn't really have the support to keep going in that, so I kind of left that alone. But later, I became intrigued with jewelry, and I felt like I was good at it because I was already good at doing architectural work. So I think it just translated into my pieces. So I have an old teacher. He did jewelry for like Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee, Harry Belafonte. So we had the same birthday, August 8th. So he feels like I'm the newer version of him. His name is Asajifo or Baba. So I feel like
fellow Leo.
Yeah. Yes. So I feel like kind of was made to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Amazing. So when you're called the Basquiat of Metal, what kind of metal are you using? I mean, are you wearing your jewelry right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have on some rings and stuff like that.
So what kind of metals are you using typically that you need to use?
Well, I use precious metals. So I use like silver or gold, depending on what they want, 18 karat, 14 karat. So I really work with those. Sometimes if I feel like it, I'll work with like non-precious metals like copper. But because I use a torch mostly for my work. So when you do non-precious metals, they give off a certain chemical in the air that's kind of poisonous. So I try not to use those as much. So I just try to stick with the precious metals.
Okay.
But just depending on the project, I'll work with a different metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I kind of want to talk to you about something that's being largely affected. Maybe you're being largely affected by right now, but metals are certainly being affected, and that's tariffs. I feel like I am getting like a history lesson in them the first time in my life, really, right now. And, there are tax imposed by a government on goods and services that are imported from other countries. And so President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum.
Yeah, out of China.
Yeah. And this is like not the first time that he's done this, right? In 2018, Trump also imposed a 25% tariff on steel. So like metal has kind of unequivocally been hit first and hard. So yeah, I'm very curious, like specifically how, but also when you first heard that this was happening, where did your mind go?
Hell no. I was like, what? I was like, because I know what I do is a specialty, and it's not like food. It's not like gas. It's not things that people need.
Not essential.
It's not essential.
Right.
It's a luxury item. So I'll be the first one cut off the list. So, it's great for art. It's great to have something you could pass down, but people are not really thinking about that, especially working class people.
Right.
That's the last thing they're going to think about. So I definitely am going to be affected,
Yeah.
I've been doing this like 2006. So I remember when 2008 happened. My business was never really the same from then because I was doing art shows at Capitol Hill at Easter Market. But once the recession hit, all those clients that were buying rings that were like a couple $100s, it just kind of never really got back to that level. I think for the average person, they wasn't scared to buy stuff. But after that, my business it's a labor of love, really.
Right.
You ever heard of a starving artist?
Never. What are those?
Yeah, so I'm not starving, but I don't think I'm ever going to be rich off of this, So it's definitely a labor of love. And I've went through situations where I felt like something happened, and it was like, keep going, regardless of what. If I ever make $1 million, $1 billion off of it or not, just keep doing your art. So for me, I'm going to try to do it regardless. It's just going to be harder, and I would hate to pass down what affects me to my consumer or to my clients. So it's a bad situation.
Yeah, because even if you're worried, right? You see this on the news, you see it's coming down the pike, and you're like, oh, I can see that I'm not essential.
Yeah.
But you can't let your clients see you sweat, probably, right? You've got to kind of still maintain. I don't know. For me as an art, like I'm an artist,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's this mystery you have to maintain all the
Yeah.
time, and that can be really exhausting because you want to just talk to people and be like, hey, I've got a business like
Yeah.
anyone else,
Yeah.
like, you know. And I'm worried about this, but I don't know. How are you showing up for your main clients, especially high profile clients like Earth, Wind, and Fire?
I'm a small business. Once my surplus dwindles and I can't give them a certain price, they'll probably go to a bigger manufacturer in America to get it done for a cheaper price.
Okay.
So that's how it's really going to knock me out. Because once I run out of my surplus of everything that I have that's not already has the tariff on it.
Like the amethyst.
Yeah.
You're talking
Or
about like the metal.
even now, like say if I get a diamond from overseas, if I get something from India, say if the stone is $1,000, right now it will be maybe an extra 5 to 6% on it, just like that.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lose first, but if a bigger manufacturer has already the surplus, once mine's is dwindled, I'm out of there.
Right.
So,
You're out of material.
yeah,
Literally.
And then I have to get it from where I get it from, and it's going to be a tax on it, and then I have to put it on my clients. So just by the surplus alone, I'm going to lose. You know.
Right. And what does that mean for what you'd be charging your clients? Like, what would their price difference look like?
It'll probably be higher than the bigger manufacturer because I'm a small business.
Yeah.
And I don't have the room to cut corners, or I just don't have it.
Right.
So I'll be affected. I'll probably be affected first.
So are you doing any, like, I'm interested in like imagining what kind of prep work you're doing in your business right now for, you know, doomsday prepping, essentially, in a way. Like, how are you preserving those little bits of materials that you have left over? And, you know, what does your workday look like that's different now?
Okay. So it's this thing called butterscotch amber, right?
Butterscotch amber?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Ooh.
It's like if you, like a lot of in Ethiopia, it's like a privilege. It's like one of the number one things to have and adorn yourself with, right?
Wow.
So I remember when I was younger and I used to do jewelry, I can find it when I go to the trade shows. It was easy to get. Then probably like 10 years ago, it was hard to find. And then there's a lot of copies that weren't real, that were out. And I was like, I'm not giving my clients fake jewelry, right? So I finally found some maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
And the strand was thousands of dollars for a strand. Before it could be like $1,000, $800, but they already went up. Maybe it was like $3,500.
How much is a strand? Like this
It
much?
depends. No, a strand is probably like 32 beads down here. I'll send you a picture or something.
$1,000 for 32 beads?
No, about 3,500 now. Like, you know, but it's worth something, right?
Right.
But now, before when I was younger, because of the price, I'll just cut it up and make stuff and just utilize it and thinking I was going to get more.
Right.
But now that it's more of a commodity to have it, I use it sparingly.
Right.
You know, so it's like, and I have to ask for the most when I do it because it's hard to find. You're not really going to get any.
You don't know when you're going to see it again.
But I thought it would be forever. Like I didn't know in my lifetime, in my short time of being a designer, that we'll be out of it so fast. So now, like even my quartz, all the stuff I have, I really, when it's time to do a job, hopefully I have the stone that the client wants. So I will try to like just hold on to it instead of just making art just to make it, you know? So I really think about everything I do now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Down to the weight, to the penny weight, to the gram, to the ounce. You really have to calculate in metal, what's it going to cost? So say if I'm off 2 grams, if it's gold, that can be another $200 instantly before I even do any creative work to it. So I just have to always keep my eyes on the numbers.
You're like doing math in real time. Like, you know, before you've even purchased the thing, you just have to, Yeah. How much of this is prep work right now, doomsday prepping for what you think might happen, versus how much of it is actually starting to happen to you now? Like, have you tried to find something, a resource, something, and it doesn't exist or you can't afford it anymore?
probably like a week ago when the gold fluctuated, I didn't want to get anything. I wanted to wait. And any client, I was talking to a client about a wedding ring. I was like, based on what's going on, if you buy it today, it might be this price.
Right.
If you buy it tomorrow, it might be a little lower higher. But I just can't say, yes, this is the price, the final price. So I have to really be in real time and check what's going on before I say it finalized. Because like I said, I can be off 2 grams and that's $200.
Right.
That could be my budget. That could be the money, my profit money. So I can actually put myself in a hole if I don't look at the numbers and what's going on, especially if I'm doing a bigger project. Yeah.
So how does all of this make you view, I guess, like our current presidency and like some of the choices that are happening in our government right now?
Sad.
Why?
Because most of the people I know are good people and they just want to take care of their families. They just want to have a life. They want to have a vacation. They want to have a retirement. You know, they want to make their family members proud. And this is making people stressed out. I have people in my family that are affected by what's going on. Some are retiring early, you know. So, you know, you're human, right? You're American,
I
right?
try, yeah.
Right. So, you know, it affects everybody here.
Right,
so we're all
right.
affected in our own way, you know.
Right.
The saving grace for me is that I do things with my hands and I do everything in-house, most of the stuff, you know. Even like say with cutting my own faceted stones, right? I have a janky machine to cut my faceted stones, but I can cut them. But I'm not the best at that.
What is that? Like, for those of us who don't know what you mean.
I don't have anything that's faceted. So say like a diamond ring, like
Right.
a wedding ring is faceted.
Okay.
It's like it has different angles to it, different corners and stuff like
Because
that.
I thought faceted would be like when the prongs like faceted.
What a prong is not the stone. The prong is what holds
What
the
holds
stone.
it. Yeah. So I thought faceted meant like
faceted
that.
is like it has a seat. It might be like this and like a diamond if you think
Yeah.
of the shape of a diamond.
Okay.
So I can cut my own stones, but I'm not a professional at it. Like I'm not certified to cut it, but I can. And I don't want to. I'd rather get the masters of that to do it. And sometimes they're not here. But the good thing for me, like I was saying with the saving grace, is I really make stuff. So I make it in-house. So that's going to save me the least when this happens, I still can do it. Right. But some people, if they get everything from overseas, from India, if they get all their diamonds, like I think it's a percentage of, I forgot the percentage from Europe on diamonds now. But if they outsource everything and they have a big company that they run, I feel sorry for them.
Right.
So I have been prepping. Make it yourself. You know, it's American made, and I'm proud of that. You know. So I think that's the thing that's going to help me get through these hard times.
Is your own 2 hands?
Yeah, my own 2 hands. And actually I can bring it from idea into reality without a team to do it, you know?
Yeah, that's amazing. And also, I can imagine maybe a little daunting on your production. Like, you only have 2 hands.
Yeah.
You don't have 20,
Yeah.
right? So will it slow down production for you?
Yeah.
With larger orders?
Yeah, definitely. It will definitely slow down orders. And I tell people it's art, so you got to kind of wait unless, say, sometimes I have my website up where if I'm not doing a lot, I can put my website up and they can go to the website. They can buy it. The product is ready. But for anything that they have to make, it might be a waiting period, like if it's custom.
Right.
Like you might have to wait like 2 months, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So it's definitely going to change.
Yeah. So far, what's changing on your clients' ends is maybe price.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe wait time.
Yep.
And what's changing on your end is everything about how you make stuff. I mean, it sounds like you've always known how to make stuff, but you can't produce as much as quickly. This makes me think a lot about like how this might be happening and coming for like all of us right now in a way, right? We're going to have to learn how to not rely on too much outside resources or sources or forces to help us. And so we're going to like start doing things. I'm predicting maybe like more in-home daycares, right? Like more situations where people lean into their community members. Like, hi, I'm Aman. Like my production is crazy down right now because of these tariffs. And so instead of shipping that work overseas, I am going to ask my 10 buddies to help me out. Do you foresee like any of that happening, like us leaning into each other more?
Yeah. I have a son, and he has his own life.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to get him to help to keep it going. You know? Like not big things, but just things that will be better if he can do it, because I can focus on the more important things.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Some help. But I think like maybe that's not so bad in a way.
I don't think everything is bad. I just think how it's done and how fast things are done.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should have more products made in America.
Right.
But it shouldn't be like, all right, tomorrow.
Right. We're going to have to lower our expectations of pace.
I think it should be, and it should be funded small businesses.
Yeah.
Really fund them.
Yeah.
Especially ones that look like us.
Yeah.
I'm creative.
Right.
I can be a creative director, but I'm not tripping if I am or not. I'm my own creative director for the people that like my work. Right. But I think America has so much talent, and sometimes we just don't have the tools or the resources to compete with other companies or other places around the world, but it's, you're talented. I know about you. We're uber talented, but sometimes we do everything on a budget,
right?
And it's a small budget. So imagine if we had the resources in America to really do it, but it can't just be like, all right, tomorrow we want you guys to be, we're going to get everything from here. But
whose voice is that?
I don't know. I'm just making it up. Not my voice, but
somebody's voice.
I just think things need to slow down,
Yeah.
Because it's really affecting us.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying is like maybe we're in desperate need of slowing down.
Yeah. But I don't control that. So
right.
It's like that's out of my power
right.
to a degree.
We don't want to have to be forced to slow down.
But I'm definitely slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like maybe that might bring forth some new clients who have like a very special thing that like they're happy to wait. I don't know, like instead of like the crank out a bunch of jewelry for me, Aman, it'll be like, I want that one butterscotch amber piece or, or whatever.
Waiting is, we used to wait, like even getting the tailored suit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it might not be perfect the first time. You come, you get your measurements, they try it on, like, okay, you're getting a little weight in the back, so we got to make that give you a little bit more space for that. So it's a tailor-made thing. So things shouldn't just be so quick anyway.
Right.
For me, I feel like things are positive and negative. It's pros and cons to everything, right?
Yeah.
It's pros and cons of being an artist. It's pros and cons to working in like in the government.
Right.
So I think it could be good, but right now it's not good the way it's rolling out.
Right.
It's like you can have a great album, but the rollout is terrible. We dropping it tonight. And it's like you didn't know marketing and prepping and getting people excited for it.
Yeah.
And then you just roll it out and feel like,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like unexpected. You don't want to have to change your business plan unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Right. You want to be able to go to that trade show the year before and buy enough supplies to get you through whatever.
Yeah.
You brought up something earlier that you said, especially for people that look like us.
Yeah.
And one of the things I feel like as a Black woman, as a Black person, and I don't know if you feel this way, but just that like we're always preparing for doomsday. like we're always skeptical of systems lasting, doing the right things by us. There's a world in which like we have built-in skill sets to take care of ours and our own, because we're always kind of assuming that the good times won't really last. How much of your Blackness comes into play with this?
I'm an 80s baby. I seen what crack has done to my community and to family members and friends of families. I grew up in it. I seen it with my own eyes. I feel like it's been a war against me. I feel like I've always been on the bottom, not spiritually or anything like that, but as far as how the world sees me. So I feel like I've been fighting my whole life. Like, even like I said, in positions that I could probably be in, but I'm not going to be in. And I understand it, and I understand how the world works from where I sit, right? So I feel like this is nothing new to us. Like
Right.
even my dad said it. He said, son, we from the bottom. How low can we go? I thought about it. It's like,
Yeah.
we not too far from slavery. Like family members that's still alive had connection to other family members that were in slavery. So I've been going through it. I lived in New York, stop and frisk. You drive in a car, the cops pull you over because you're in the car. Like, so I feel like I've always been fighting my whole life. So to me, I feel like I'm ready for the fight. Being a black male in America, it's so funny. Not to get into race, but we're talking about blackness,
this
right?
whole show's about race and blackness.
I just think about, for me, this is how I look at things. My family's originally from the South, right? So I was taught to open the door for elders, right? But somebody will see me and think I'm a thug. But I'm like, you know what? Miss Lady, I would probably be a better grandson than your grandson. Because I do open doors. I do respect people. But based on what I look, it's sad. You get what I'm saying?
And meanwhile, you're making jewelry.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Super thug, super hardcore.
Yeah.
Out in these jewelry streets.
Yeah, out in these streets. Trap jewelry,
Oh, gosh.
For live TV, we're just going to do a quick version of it with my hands. This thing right here is called silver solder if you're doing a silver ring. This flux right here is like a glue once I use a torch.
Do you think there's a cultural agreement that we're kind of all making with one another during this presidency, during this time, while these different things like tariffs keep coming down the pike and coming around the corner, where we're just a little unbothered because we kind of know?
Yeah. I think so. I feel that vibe.
Yeah.
I feel the vibe. And I think it's bigger than us. I think it's a spiritual thing. I think we're connected, and sometimes it's a good thing just to sit down.
Right.
Because sometimes we all got to play a part, right? I shouldn't just come out when it affects me. I should come out when it affects every American.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't work like that. They come out when it affects their situation, Everybody needs to be involved. We get involved.
Yeah.
I got aunties. I got sisters. And they fight for America. They fight for everybody's rights. Man, woman, and child. So, people are hurt. People get hurt. People need time to reheal. Personally, I'm not a businessman. I'm an artist, man.
And a business man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're making jewelry for some rock stars. People could look at you and be like, well, he just got there. But what would you say to the young artist who maybe doesn't think that they need to lean into that craft of skill, that daily practice?
Everything takes time. Before I start hammering and soldering and torching, making jewelry, I had to clean everybody's jewelry. I had to clean for hours, days, months, just polish. So could I get the product to look a certain way? That was my first thing. No, you know what? Well, before that, I had to cut metal. So it's this thing you use. It's so many ways to do it, but it's like a machine. Like you melt the metal, you roll it through this roller mill machine, right? And it gives you certain shapes. So I had to be the guy that would measure and cut for the bracelets, measure, cut for the rings. Can I cuss on this thing?
You can cuss.
That thing was no fun. But looking back, in all these years I've been in it, those were the foundational tools I needed to be where I'm at right now. And
then also when something like tariffs comes down the pike, it comes in handy.
Yeah.
Literally, that you know how to do this.
I can eyeball work. Say if I have a wax carving that I created, before it turns into metal, I could kind of guesstimate what it's going to be. So I feel like, but that's years and years and years and years of just working on your craft.
yes, it takes time to become a big deal, but even if you become a big deal, then something like tariffs can happen and you're right back where you started. So there's a lesson
behind,
there.
or out of business.
Right.
Out of business before you even get started. So that's what's hard for some. It's going to be hard now that people can't even get started.
Yeah, they can't even afford
Like, why would you start something that you can't finish? Or why would you start something that you know is going to be super taxing? We're all in this together. You know?
Literally.
Pollution affects everybody. You know? We're in this together. So it's like fish in water, right? If you mess up the water, all of the fish are affected.
Right.
So I feel like we just gotta. I just don't know. I don't know who's running things. I don't know the empathy level. I don't know the caring level. If you only care for a certain type of people, but we're all human and we just want to live a good life while we're here. And this is definitely affecting it. We'll see in 6 months to a year, you know?
Yeah.
Between me and the universe,
yeah.
This is my art. This is my heaven. This is how I can give back. Say it like this interview and all this stuff, when it's over and we have 20 more presidents, the jury that I made is going to last for 100 years. So when we're gone,
it's beautiful.
All those thousands of pieces I made is still going to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you want to continue to be a part of the Homegoings family, stay in touch at homegoings.co and subscribe to the Homegoings podcast wherever you listen. Take good care.